Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Four Lights Wellness. My name is Omid. In this video, we have our 4-inch roller. We are going to get some spinal mobilization and kind of control integration, coordination, whatever word you want to use in there. But a lot of the challenges that people have, one, the spine does get tight and fixated and the joints themselves can kind of get stuck and not move very well. But then, you went through my video, you've mobilized all the segments, you feel great. Now it's time to integrate into some motion. A 4-inch roller is fantastic for this. It just fits between the shoulder blades really well. 6-inch doesn't do it quite a good enough job of stability demand for things. If you do have a 3-inch roller, it can work. The challenge is I've not been able to find a 3-inch roller that's hard enough for this. They usually kind of compress so much that there's not a lot of side-to-side stability problems. So I got my 4-inch roller. We're going to put it vertically on the spine itself. I'm going to put my tailbone on one side, head bone on the other. And first I'm going to just drape. Arms are going out to the sides. Most people get really tight through their pec minors. Pec majors sometimes can get tight. The shoulder capsule can get tight. Even the ribs in the front, the sternum can kind of get tight and compressed together when we're sitting so much. Just breathing here for even as short as a minute can start to open up the respiration mechanisms through here. All of the intercostal muscles will start to learn how to expand sideways again. Look up east to west breathing on that stuff. You'll learn all sorts of fun stuff. Even massages out the liver, the spleen, pancreas on this side. So just breathing. And there's a couple of ways that I teach people how to do this, depending on what they need. I'll just teach them all to you real quick. If I pick up the arms off of the floor, hopefully the microphone doesn't get in the way too much for this. Yeah, well, I'm just going to put these across my belly just like that. Usually I have people grab their shoulders, but, I'm recording. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to look to the left, and I'm going to turn my eyeballs. And then I'm going to start to turn my head. And the first thing that I notice is my body wants to do that. So what has to happen? For every action, there needs to be an equal and opposite reaction. I'm turning to the left. My upper body is going to turn to the left. What I'm looking for is when my lower body starts turning to the right. The tailbone will start to fishtail over towards you. If it doesn't, I fall. So I'm just going to look little bits, breathing nice and comfortable, and I'm just feeling for that reactivity of my, let's say, left glute medius, left hip flexors, adductors, all of the stuff that'll turn me to the right. And then I'll do the same thing going to the left. And maybe the camera will actually pick this up, but that happened a lot easier on this side, which is ironic because usually my spine's tighter going to the right, but I get a better response. One thing I'll say with this is we're trying to look for pure rotation. We're not trying to look for a banana, kind of digging down through this way. The next thing I'll start to work on is trying to get the shoulders to the floor. So I'll keep my gaze fairly straight forward, and I'll rotate. I'll just hold the microphone. I'll try and rotate the shoulder to the ground and the shoulder to the ground. And coordination-wise for me right now is harder to the left, which is interesting because all the tension tightness was on the right when I did this. But we're not looking for crazy fireworks here. We're not looking for huge cracks or mobilizations or anything. We're just looking for how does the brain actually process the spine's rotation from side to side? Is it doing it smoothly? Is it jerky? Is the upper body and lower body not getting this, let's just say, reciprocal sort of stuff? If the head turns to the right, the spine and the lower body should turn to the left. Is that happening? Is the actual dura mater, the spinal sheath itself, too tight to actually allow this to happen? And yes, you got a snake inside of you. It's called the spine. Spinal cord, all of that needs to be able to move just as much as the big muscles. And this is a great, great way to work on that. For maintenance, something like this, roughly about once a month. It's a neurological thing. It usually kind of gets held pretty well. But if your spine's been fixated for a while, that sheet might be dehydrated, and this is a great way to wake it back up. Now, I'm not able to do this. I've seen plenty of people teach this and not be able to do this. There was only one person that was able to do this, and it blew my mind. They were actually able to rotate their hip straight to the ground. And when I say this, I don't just mean doing this. I fell off the roller. That's side flexion. That's not rotation. If I grab my bucket, a pelvis right here, as much as this hip on the right towards you is going to go down, this one has to go up. There also needs to be extension to hold the tailbone on the roller as I rotate. What I'm looking for is not to get to the ground. I'm looking for the rest of the body's reactivity here and the difference left to right. Don't care if I touch the ground. I'm not trying to be a gymnast. I'm not trying to restore perfect function in the body and all that stuff. I just want to improve my life a little bit, not get tight, and it's definitely harder going to the left. But here's the fun thing. It's not that the left can't drop. It's that I'm having trouble stabilizing this right hip by pushing it to the ground and lifting up. So what I can do is right where I get stuck, this is a little bit more advanced, the sacrum and tailbone are trying to rotate to the left. I'm going to rotate my upper to the right until all of a sudden, the second I did that, I felt my right hip turn on. So now I can go further. So what you can do, if you can coordinate this, is you can go side to side with the upper body rotation. If you add the arms back in and try and get the shoulders down at the same time, this is a fantastic way to mobilize that thoracolumbar fascia and all of the junction between there. T12L1 for you nerds. But it really just wakes up the nervous system. It gets the multifidus firing with this extension rotation, gets the breathing pattern to calm the F down, it gets the abdominals to calm down. Yes, your abs are probably working too tight. They're not weak. You flex forward all day, every day, even if it's in a chair, those abs will get short and tight. So this helps to mobilize. Now, one more little layer to this is we can add a whole bunch of fun little balance in. Level 1 with this particular exercise is I'm just going to take my arms out to the sides in that same drape. And then I'm going to lift up one foot. It's pretty dang easy to do that with the arms out to the sides, right? Well, what if I only go with one finger? That gets a little harder. What we're looking for here is that you can still sing the entire alphabet because you're not working that hard. And you know what I mean? So if I go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, if I go to no fingers, A, B, C, that's just not, it's just too much. So we want to make sure that we get to a level where the nervous system can actually process this information. Otherwise, you're working the muscular system rather than the actual neural connection of things. So I'm going to move a little bit so you can see my foot a little better. Here's the kind of the regression of this. I just call it a rocking chair. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have my arms across my body. I'm going to keep the front of the foot down. I'm just going to lift up the heel. What that's doing is it's causing less pressure on the right side than the left. So I feel the whole left side kick on to help me here, but I can still feel the core engaging without over bracing from the abdominal wall. It's more the entire barreling effect that I'm looking for. I'm going to lower that heel nice and slow, as little pressure into the heel as I can as I lift up the front of the foot and pull those toes up, spreading them out as best I can. And I'm going to continually rock through this. With each rep, I'm going to take less and less and less pressure on that right foot and try and get more pressure down into the ground on the left until eventually I can do this off the ground. It's about waking the nervous system up. It's not about working a specific muscle or strengthening something. It doesn't mean your multifidus is weak. It might kick in plenty fine in deadlift, but not with rotation. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. You won't be able to see. It's definitely harder on this side. We already found out that this right hip is not waking up. Come on, brother. Well, let's do this. Until eventually I can neurologically connect to my spine and start to get this foot up. So that's just a couple of tips you can use to reawaken a spine if it's been asleep for a long time. And I got news for some of you out there. If you've been sitting for a long time, not mobilizing and taking care of your nervous system like this, it needs some waking up. If that's you, you need this a little bit more often than some of the other people that might be watching this video. You're looking to do this at least once or twice a week, maybe even 3 times a week. And this might be your workout. If you're falling off the roller especially, it's definitely going to be your workout. And if you're putting more load on the body than that, you're risking a whole bunch of injury. Right? We need to get these intrinsic stabilizers turning on to stabilize a joint before you load it. Otherwise, that's where disc injuries happen, facet joint injuries happen, arthritis, all of that kind of stuff can happen, okay? That's it for this video, guys. I hope this information was very helpful to you all. As always, have a happy and healthy rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.